Okay, now we're going to change gears, talk a little bit more about the red light, this amazing end of the spectrum that apparently is protecting us from the UV. So red light is very visible at sunrise and sunset. Hopefully, I mean, I don't see this picture every day when I walk out of my house, but hopefully you've seen something like this and you know what I mean when the atmosphere is more red at dawn and at dusk. It's a good time to go outside. So you can get the benefits of the red light either in the natural daylight or using a red light at home. So there's a number of studies on red light. It's just amazing. It shows that it reduces wrinkles, right? Because it's increasing the antioxidants to your skin, preventing the breakdown of skin. It improves inflammatory skin conditions like psoriasis. It helps hair regrow. It helps with superficial skin cancers. And in combination with other medical approaches, it can help reduce inflammation and breakouts, they've shown in studies. Here's an example of a study where they used like a red light hat to help people's hair grow back. It's also, red light is very good for the body. It reduces your fatigue and muscles. You can use it to heal a broken bone. You can use it to overcome high amounts of inflammation, such as in cases of pleurisy, which is where the lining in the lung can be very inflamed. They've used red light in situations like that. So it can help reduce swelling and pain after an injury. It can help reduce neuropathic pain and accelerate wound healing. This was a study showing the effect of red lights on bone healing. Red light is also proving to be very valuable in cognitive health. They use red lights in studies to help people recover from strokes, recover from traumatic brain injuries, improvement in psychiatric disorders like anxiety and depression, and improvement in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So this is pretty cool stuff. Here is an example of a study where they used really minimal exposure for people with major depression and anxiety and saw an improvement using near infrared. So near infrared is where you see the visible light and you also feel the heat from it. And this is an interesting study where they just talk about why is this happening? Why are we getting all of these benefits from the light? And it appears that the light is anti-inflammatory and it affects the way that our mitochondria function. So mitochondria are organelles in our cells that basically absorb the red light, and the red light works at, or near infrared or far infrared light, whatever they're doing in these different studies, are basically absorbed into the cell and help the mitochondria with reducing stress, which then make it more productive. So I talked a bit about mitochondria a couple months ago in my More Energy talk. It was all about mitochondrial health, in case you want to go back and check out that video. Mitochondria, you might remember from science class, are the powerhouse of the cell. They're these little organelles that make our energy, mainly in the form of an energy called ATP. So if you're helping the mitochondria experience less stress, they're going to make more energy. And that means that you're going to be able to respond to whatever stress you're faced with. They also do important things like kill off the cell or help change the cellular response when there's a major stress. They direct other things that are happening and really influence our physiology. The mitochondria really determine whether or not a faulty genetic expression happens or whether a disease sets in. So if you want to protect your health, you've got to focus on mitochondrial health. An example of a study where they used near infrared light to help and show that it increased the energy production in the mitochondria, and thus it led to a longer lifespan of the animals in the study. Here's another study where they looked at how red light helped improve skin and eye health. Red light's been shown in studies to improve thyroid health, The light environment also affects other aspects of our endocrine system, our pituitary gland, our adrenal gland. When we are in the light outside and we're getting that full spectrum of visible sunlight, it sends messages to our central nervous system to optimize our hormone production. So, being outside in the light is very important for neurotransmitter and mental and emotional health, as well as our hormonal and sexual health. No surprise then that the red light is also very important for sleep. It helps with sleep inertia, which is known as like the grogginess that you have in the morning. So using a red light during the day can actually help with how easily you wake up in the morning. It can also help keep you alert in the afternoon, and overall can help with sleep quality by raising people's melatonin levels, and also sleep endurance, which is like how long you can sleep. So lots of benefits from working with your light environment for sleep. This is an example. There's a lot of studies out there, so I'm just trying to show you that I'm not just making this up. There are a number of studies out there showing how important the light is for sleep quality and exercise quality and hormone health. So the most important thing is to really go outside as much as you can. If you cannot go outside or choose not to go outside as much as you need to, you can get a red light. I recommend a very affordable light on saunaspace.com. There are lots of lights out there, so you can definitely find a good red light other places. I just like the ones at saunaspace.com because I know that they're low EMF. So if you're shopping for a light, I would look for that. Also, when you pick out a light, you want to look at the specifications for what kind of lamp you need. If it's a very cheap, economical light, you probably are going to need some kind of heat lamp for it, like one of those heat lamps at Home Depot, or Ace Hardware or wherever. If you buy a more expensive light bulb, like there's an $85 one on saunaspace.com, then that usually is a little more versatile and you can put that in a different lamp. Once you've got the lamp at home, you want to sit within 20 inches of it. Any clothing that you're wearing is going to block the effect of the light on that part of your body. So keep that in mind. Like if you have a shoulder injury and you're using the light on it, you're not going to want to have a shirt on, for example. A cool thing I learned recently was that they've done studies with the red light on the abdomen and shown that it helps improve gut diversity for people. You don't need eye protection. The red light is actually good for your eyes. That's different than that Fiji sun lamp I showed you in the beginning of the talk, which I use for vitamin D production. You do need eye protection. So just follow the guidance of the manufacturer and these different lamps you might buy. Make sure you're reading that closely, so that you can protect your eyes with a UV light. But you don't need eye protection with a red light, and you can use the red light as much as you want. I tell people start with like 20 minutes, but if you wanted to be under that red light all day long, you're only going to get more of a benefit. There's not ever going to be a trade-off to using too much red light. So along these lines, using too much blue light or being exposed to too much artificial blue light is not good. So blue light is what is typically emitted from a screen or from the artificial LED lights that we use in our home. And scientists have shown that that the blue light is very damaging to our mitochondria and ATP production. We also know that it causes more insulin production and can lead to diabetes as well as sleep disturbances. So if you're someone who's got your phone next to you by your bed at night and you're scrolling at night, that's what we're talking about, is the type of thing that's not going to be good for you. Or if you have a TV on after dark, typically you're watching a lot of TV and have these issues I'm talking about, you probably need to think about making a plan to make some changes. You can do some things to reduce, I wanted to get ahead to this slide. We'll go back. You can do some things to reduce your blue light exposure. Here's a picture of me with some blue blocker glasses. You can see how they're kind of yellow tinted. So they block the blue light from a screen. So those can be helpful. You can also put a blue light blocker on your computer and on your phone. It's very easy. All of the devices have them these days. And at home, you can replace bluer lights with incandescent lights or more red LEDs. Here is an excerpt from a doctor's optometry journal about how eye doctors are finding that the blue light from all of our modern devices is very bad and the red light is very good. And so they're even beginning to use red light in treatment for glaucoma and other eye conditions. Basically, what they find is that the blue light causes a lot of stress to the mitochondria and then causes the cells to die. So that's how it's damaging for our eyes and other parts of our body. So I encourage you, hopefully you feel maybe a little motivated and impressed at like the benefits of light and realizing that just going outside, you can get exposed to these benefits. This is a excerpt from a local group called 1000 Hours Outside Madison. It's just a nonprofit that helps people share different activities outside and log your time outside. I did this several years ago where I had a chart and you can see how I filled it in every day with the amount of hours I had outside with the goal of being outside for 1000 hours. So having a challenge or something like that, or like I was talking about the D-Minder app, having something that kind of motivates you to measure how much you're outside can help you to see where you could maybe easily shift some of your habits to be doing things outside instead of being inside all the time. For example, if you like to exercise, you could probably move a lot of exercises outside and get more time outside in the light from that. I like to eat outside whenever possible, because it's downtime. Nobody cares whether I'm inside or out when I'm doing that, so I can take my stuff outside. On the weekend, when I have downtime and I want to read a book, I'll take it outside and I'll read outside. Getting outside to walk frequently, of course, is a great idea. Or just going outside to sit or meditate or take a phone call outside. Those are all really easy ways to increase your outdoor time without really making a big change in your schedule. So when you're going outside, for red light, it's said that the best exposure is at dawn and at dusk, when you're naturally going to see more red light. For the UV light for vitamin D and nitric oxide, you're going to want to go out when the UV index is higher if you're trying to maximize those. And that's usually the middle part of the day. And if you use the D-Minder app that I talked about, it will give you the information you need to know when it's optimal to go outside. It's another picture of that D-Minder app. Okay, so that's about it for what I have today. Just a review. You want to try to optimize your time outside. If you're not somebody who spends much time outside, I would suggest starting with at least a half an hour of outside time, and then the sky's the limit. Really, more is better. And you can, if you're sensitive to the sun, you can improve your tolerance gradually over time with making some of those dietary suggestions. And then if you live in a place like Wisconsin where there's not as much light available or opportunity to be out in the light in the cooler months, then I recommend using some of the artificial red and UV lights inside to try to replicate some of that benefit that's lost. Or travel, if you have the means to travel somewhere where you can access those, then that's great too. And then overall, it's a good idea to try to reduce your exposure to the artificial blue light by reducing screen time and or putting filters on your screens that restrict the blue light. That'll help your mitochondria to be healthier. So thank you very much.